Good morning, Prudential Americana Group Realtors, for our video message of the week. All right, if you remember last week, we were talking about a productive open house. Well, let's expand that a little bit and talk about a productive day. Now, as always, this deals with your decision-making process, which is tied to your behaviors, which is then tied to your beliefs. So I want to share with you some ideas that can, well, adjust some of those beliefs, or at least I hope they will. All right, so let's begin. How do you ensure a productive day? And how often do we want to have a productive day? Well, 100% of the time. I'm going to go with 100%. So first tip that I'd like to share with you is stop gauging your day by hours. That's right, no hours. In fact, let's be honest, there's only 24 hours in a day for you, for me, and for everyone else in this world. So let's stop gauging our day by hours, and I want you to start gauging your day by face-to-face appointments. Think about that for a second, okay? The clock goes away, and the way you determine if you have a productive day is by how many appointments you had that day. Now let's even drill this down a little deeper. Forget about just saying how many appointments. Let's pick a number of appointments. Let's say you want to say that I know I've had a productive day if I've had one face-to-face meeting that day. And if I don't have a face-to-face meeting that day, regardless of how many hours I was in, what I did that day, it was not a productive day. What that'll do, if that is your belief, that will switch. That changes the way your behaviors will act all day. Because you're pushing yourself to say, you know what, if I'm going to be productive today, I need to have that one appointment. Some of you might say, you know what, that's not enough. I want 2, I want 3. That's up to you. The key with this is understanding your production is not based on hours, it's based on face-to-face meetings. This is something that I utilized every single day that I was out there. In fact, there were some days, and for those of you who know some people who've been with the company for many, many years, when I sold, it used to be a little joke because I could go to the movies in the middle of the day. And they would say, you know, Stark's going to the movies, what's all that about? Well, my goal was I had to have a minimum of 2 productive face-to-face appointments that day. Once I did that, the day was over from this standpoint. I could do whatever I wanted to do, play catch-up, go to the movies or whatever, and I knew that day was productive, regardless of how many hours. Last point on this is keep in mind, some of you might say to yourself some days, God, you know what, I worked so hard today. I did so much, but I don't feel I was productive. I created anything today. That's how you stop that from happening, by gauging it by face-to-face appointments. All right, next. Each and every day, you need to have a focus on production. Each and every day. Sometimes we come in and we're really not thinking about production. So the next step in this is ask yourself, what do I want to see happen today? What is my goal? What is my production goal for the day? Well, let's say it is, and again, I'm just picking out a number, yours might be different. I want to have 1 production point each day. And let's say that's for 5 days a week. Whatever your 5 days are. It's a beautiful thing about our business. We can adjust our schedules along those lines. But if you come in and say, you know what, I want to have a production point, either a listing or a sale, you might count a listing sold, but be careful about that because that's not new business. If you price your properties right and you do what you're supposed to do, that listing will sell. So I would recommend that you stay with either a listing or a sale. All right, keep that in mind. So now you're pushing for that production point. Maybe it's a production point for the week. Okay, and I've done that to where it's say, you know what, I've got to have a minimum of 3 or 4 production points for the week. All right, so I can have a 0 in one day. Now, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the 0. Is it okay for you to say, you know what, today, I am not going to have a face-to-face meeting, and I am not going to have any production come in today. What I'm going to use today for is A, B, and C, whatever that is. Could be catch-up for whatever it is. A free opportunity to do something that I've been wanting to do in business, and I really haven't taken the time to do it. Is that okay? Absolutely yes. You know what the powerful thing about that is you are making a conscious decision to say, you know what, I know today is going to be a catch-up day. I know today I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to do my face-to-face meeting. That is so powerful because I know consciously you've got it on your mind. And that's always step one, to make that understanding, that premeditated plan of attack to say, today's going to be used for X. Totally acceptable. All right, next idea. Don't let an opportunity pass you by. Got to tell you a quick story. I had flown out this last week to meet with Prudential. When I was on the airplane, I was sitting next to a gentleman. We started talking. And of course, I'm asking him what he does. He's asking me what I do. And I always look for a way that I can get real estate into the conversation. Well, of course I did that. I learned that he recently bought a few months ago. I said, did you buy through Prudential? No, in this example, he did not buy through Prudential. But here's the exciting aspect of this story. He starts telling me how he met his agent. He was throwing something away. He lived in an apartment, throwing something away. A sales executive was in there looking for directions. Okay, I'm still with him. And in that, bumped into him, asked him for directions. And what she said is, you know, if I could ever help you purchase a house, it's such a phenomenal time to purchase, I would love to help you. Handed him his card, and then from that point forward, kept up with him, and he ended up purchasing a few months ago. And that was the sales executive that he used. Of course, I took it from there, talking about our tools and the support that we can offer, and we're going to be helping him potentially with a refinance, as well as we'll see what he's going to do down the road, either buy more or sell his house down the road. Either way, the key with that is that think about that. Don't let that opportunity pass you by. How many people, I mean, think about it. I'm sitting on an airplane, dead time, and an opportunity to grow business. How many times a day do you run into that opportunity and you let it go by because I don't want to bother that person, I don't want to say anything, who knows what'll happen. Pass out that card, okay, ask the question, ask for business, and you'd be amazed at how many opportunities that you'll get with that intention in mind. All right, we're talking about intention. I want you to make sure, don't forget to ask the question. What are some of the questions? Well, one key one I want to talk about, and that is, what can you do for them? You know, be real clear. Let me give you the example of what I said to this gentleman. You know what? At no cost to you, I don't mind. Would you like to have information on the property that you've purchased on a monthly basis, letting you know every sale, every listing sold, and every listing in your area? He said, sure. I said, great. You know what? When I get back, we'll work that out. That's OSA. I also said, hey, listen, do you like searching the MLS? I can give you access to search the MLS like a sales executive does. He was very excited about that. He's also going to work with me on some friends that are still renting who have not jumped in, okay, to purchase yet. And don't worry, we're going to be working on getting those individuals as well. All right. He has none of these tools offered to him, and each of the tools that we talked about excited him. I also gave him a card on our texting. Again, talking about tools. And that's that next step. Make sure when you ask that question, how can you help? All right. Would they like this service at no cost to them? You don't mind. You'll provide it. Based on that, keep that in mind. Talk those tools. Talk that support. It's an easy close and a great opportunity to build that rapport. Last but not least, and I've talked a little bit about this, but I want to drive this point home. Each and every day, if you want a productive day, each and every day you have to start off with the intention to be productive and believe it's going to be a productive day. All right? Your attitude, your mindset, I talk about it all the time, is so very important. So have that aspect, have that idea that today is going to be a productive day, and whoever I talk with, whatever I do, with the right intention and the right mindset, I'll make each and every day a productive day and a successful day. Have a great week, everybody. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.